Hello everyone, Anonymous MGTOW here. In this video I'm going to be analysing the MGTOW article from The Sun this morning. You can also watch if you want because I'll be scrolling down the page. Men going monk. These men hate women so much they've sworn off sex and refuse to speak to them. Meet the men going their own way. All around the world at least 60,000 men are opting out of relationships with women, even giving up dangerous and addictive sex and going monk to avoid contact with them. By George Harrison, 7th of June 2018. You wouldn't guess it from everyone's desire to couple up on Love Island, but thousands of men are so fed up with women that they're cutting them out of their lives completely. These disgruntled dudes, united in their hatred of the opposite sex, are known as MGTOW, men going their own way. There are tens of thousands of them from all over the world, working in the loneliest corners of the internet. So, first off, we, MGTOW, do not hate the opposite sex. We only hate the things that the opposite sex do and what our society enables them to do, such as feminism. And of course that means women are lying about things and all that, only because we let them. It's not the women themselves that we hate, it's just what they do. And then it says that we lurk in the loneliest corners of the internet, which I'll admit we are probably a corner of the internet, but I wouldn't say we're the loneliest. Incel. But we also do communicate a lot with each other, so we're hardly lonely. And I think a lot of us, we play a lot of video games, and so we're always sort of interacting with people. It just happens to be online. So let's scroll down a bit. So, members of the MGTOW, pronounced MGTOW, communicate almost entirely online. Well, the reason for that is because there isn't really a safe place to talk about it in real life, unless you're with people that you know are on your level. But that's another thing, you don't actually know who's MGTOW really in real life, because even if someone was, they wouldn't tell other people, because you don't know who you're talking to, really. But online, you can sort of tell people, and if they are, then that's good. But if they're not, at least they don't know who you are, so you're safe. So, sex is off the cards. Relationships are banned. Marriage is the ultimate no-go, and if you reach the top level of MGTOW hierarchy, you're expected to quit your job and move off grid, so you don't even have to look at women. Ask these men why, and they'll tell you it's because women can't be trusted. They're manipulative, they'll suck the joy out of your life, and rinse you for every penny you have in the process. Which, in 2018, is true, you can't really deny that. And then, he goes on and says, they browse their men-only forums. And you also read the argument that society has become stacked in women's favour, with unequal divorce settlements, high male suicide rates, and false rape accusations, cited as proof that fellas are being screwed over. Well, yeah, it is true. You know, there are unequal divorce settlements. It's exactly right. I'm not sure what the author is trying to prove here, because he's explained that we make arguments such as unequal divorce settlements and false rape accusations, which is true. The reason it's cited as proof is because it is proof. It's true and it's happening right now. Let's scroll down a bit. The 5 levels of MGTOW. There is reportedly an unofficial hierarchy within MGTOW groups, based on how committed men are to rejecting women from their lives. Level 0. Embrace the idea that gender equality is a lie and propaganda. Level 1. Reject all long-term relationships. Level 2. Reject all short-term relationships and stop having sex. Level 3? And you interact with wider society where you have to. And level 4? Disengage from society completely. Well, that's what it is, an unofficial hierarchy. I'll be honest, I didn't even know there were more than 3. The first few, well, to be honest, they're all true. They're just not in a hierarchy like that. There is no sort of level system that you have to go up in order to be a better MGTOW. Because we're all MGTOWs, but it's just how you sort of view the world. Everyone's different, which that's just nature, isn't it? So, let's go down. What's this? So, virginity is a common topic on the Reddit, and many say they have proudly chosen to never have sex, describing their devotion to celibacy as going monk. So, I wouldn't say, well, let's just keep reading. Let's go down. So, this is just, let's go down. Nothing wrong with having sex, blah, blah, blah. I think this is just about people, basically they found people who comment on the Reddit and stuff like that. They're just trying to pick out bits. Let's go down. The different stages of MGTOW. Now this is just stupid here. The author has already said the MGTOW hierarchy is unofficial, yet he's about to start talking about it as if it's an official thing that every member must follow. As you see here, it says, Level 0. The bottom of the ladder involves swallowing red pill terminology from sci-fi classic The Matrix. This means understanding how things really are. Well, I think that's just MGTOW in general. Because if you haven't taken I don't think you can really be MGTOW and not take the red pill, because you sort of have to take the red pill before you can be MGTOW, because otherwise you'll just never see it. Although I will admit it is possible to have subconsciously gone MGTOW, and I'm going to get to that in a minute, because I think there's a bit further down that talks about that. It is possible to go MGTOW by accident, like you just see that it's not worth it, but you probably don't even know what MGTOW is. But if you actually know what MGTOW is, you will know what the red pill is. So, let's go down. This is just a bit about members, like the Enlightened Kiwi and YouTube channels. Let's go down. I'm not reading this bit because it's the guy with the protest sign saying feminism is a refuge for women's sexual failure. This does in no way represent other MGTOWs. So let's scroll down a bit. Now, goes on to YouTube. Okay, let's read. Meanwhile, in a YouTube clip with 150,000 views, a man calling himself Big John explains over a glass of whiskey, or was it Scotch? Yeah, Scotch. Sorry, how did I misread that? Anyway, why the MGTOW philosophy is proving so popular. There is a concept that men need a woman, he says, swelling his whiskey, but I find women to be a nuisance. So, yeah. What about this YouTuber? It mentions the Enlightened Kiwi. So, what's the need to bring up these YouTubers? Because, I know for a fact Big John, I used to watch his videos before his channel got taken down. So, this is probably taken from one of the re-uploads, but what he says is not out of proportion, like MRAs. So really, this is just free advertising for him. Let's go down. Elsewhere on the anonymous message boards, threads are dedicated to discussing how much they all hate white knights. Men who unquestioningly jump to women's defence in hope of hooking up with them. The only kind of people they hate more, other than women of course, are manginas, male feminists, just in case you didn't know, and chads, attractive jocks. So, manginas, they are bad, but as a MGTOW, I wouldn't say I hate chads. If anything, I just wonder when they will slip up and get hashtag MeToo'd. But I mean, at least they're not manginas. I'm going to give props to the author for at least outlining the differences here between MGTOW, MRA and incels. He is right that MRAs want to change the law, but MGTOW just want to remove themselves completely. And he does then say MGTOW are distinctively different from incels. So I thank the author for that. Let's read. So, the MGTOW banner is broad and has some overlap with online alt-right communities in their rejection of feminism and gender equality. So I'm going to have to say something here. So MGTOW, if you've been around MGTOW for a long time, you will know that we are not, well, we try not to have anything to do with the alt-right, but it just so happens that I guess you could say we have a common enemy, as you could say, but that doesn't mean we're the same. So, but while you'd think that MGTOW and men's rights activists, MRAs, would have a lot in common, the two groups frequently clash online. They both despise feminism, but where MRAs want to change the law to get rid of the perceived imbalance against men, MGTOW want to remove themselves from society entirely. Well, yeah, I mean, MRAs think that if we change the laws, it will suddenly fix everything, whereas if you're a MGTOW, and like I said earlier, if you're MGTOW, you will know what the red pill is. Chances are you're both your red pill and MGTOW. You know that just by changing the laws, that doesn't instantly change everyone's attitude all at once. Because we are still in 2018, and to be honest, things are just getting worse and worse. Changing the laws, I mean, they wouldn't change the laws in the first place, but even if they did, it wouldn't change anything. People still wouldn't get married as much, because even if you did, they could easily change the laws 10 years later and then you're screwed again. So, let's go down. He does then say the part about the incels. So, MGTOW are distinctly different from incels. Involuntary celibates. The group which the Toronto attacker belonged to. Both groups revolve around celibacy, but this is supposedly a conscious choice for MGTOW, while incels want to have sex. So, yes, he does then say at the end that celibacy is a supposedly conscious choice for MGTOW, while incels want to have sex. I disagree with this, because celibacy is not just a fully conscious choice for men, it's also a subconscious choice. When you feel danger, your mind will choose the safest option. If somebody said jump off a cliff, would you do it? No, you wouldn't. Or at least, if you weren't insane, you wouldn't do it, because your brain would detect the danger and prevent you from wanting to do it. If I really tried, I could get myself laid, but what's the point? All that effort for a short period of ecstasy, and then you have the risk of her lying to other people. And if you made her pregnant, well, you might as well just run as far as you can from civilization and never ever return. Because, I mean, your life just becomes a living hell. Especially if you're young. At the end it says, you can't help but imagine the women who used to be in their lives might be that much better off as well. And I reply, I'm sure they are much better off, because they've probably taken a lot of money and time from the man they were with. It's disgusting. And then in the comment section, I see there are a few MGTOWs, but I think this guy's a MGTOW, or at least he's in defence of MGTOW. There's also a few arrogant women commenting. No, not arrogant, ignorant comments in, well, I guess it could be arrogance and ignorance, because it's like they're very sure that they're right, aren't they? So it's a bit of both, really. But anyway, if you want to go and have a look yourself, read the article, or go in the comment section. The link is below in the description. I sort of slipped up a few of my words near the end, because I've never really actually done a big article like this, and it's actually quite a long article for a news article. But anyway, this has been Anonymous MGTOW. Thanks for listening.